It's for calling my sister a lazy leech after she demanded I babysit her kids every single weekend. So here's the deal. I, 28F, have a full-time job that requires me to work long hours. Plus, I have my own life and social commitments. My sister, 30F, has 3 kids, ages 6, 4, and 2, who are adorable, but let's be real, a handful. Ever since she had the 3rd kid, she's concluded that I should step up and be her personal babysitter every weekend so she can have a break and go out with her friends. Now, I love my niece and nephews, but I shouldn't have to sacrifice my entire weekend just because she can't manage her own parenting responsibilities. Last week, after yet another weekend spent babysitting while she was out partying, I finally snapped. I told her that I felt like a lazy leech for relying on me to do her parenting for her, and that she needs to find a proper solution rather than just dumping her kids on me. She flipped out and called me selfish and said I clearly don't care about family. I told her she was being entitled and that I have a right to my own time, too. Now she's gone and told the whole family I'm the jerk, and everyone keeps texting me saying I should help her out more. I ate a here for wanting to have my own life instead of playing second mom to her kids every weekend. Edit. Dad is a deadbeat alcoholic, so he is not a viable option for the kids. NTA. Any family member who tells you you should help out more, reply with this: thank you for supporting my sister. I'll let her know that you have volunteered your time to babysit for her every weekend. Edited to fix, I'll let you know, to, I'll let her know. I wish I could upvote this more. Remove. She's the one who chose to have these kids. She's responsible for raising them, not dumping them on the weekends. If Op keeps being forced to babysit, she should start charging ridiculous rates so her sister has to ask someone else to save cash. So the kids are of an age that they don't clean up, so this sister should babysit at her sister's place and do no cleaning. Just play auntie and spoil them rotten. Let them draw on the walls, take scissors to their clothing, cut their own hair. Leave dishes in the sink, laundry wherever it falls, and if the kids forget to flush, just let it sit. Just be like, kids will be kids. You get to have fun and they deserve that too. Look, you ruined their fun. LMAO, yes. Alternatively, she can do this and be like, I am doing you a favor by watching your kids. Kids you don't even like enough to spend a single weekend a month with. How can you say you love them if you don't want to spend time with them? I like spending time with them. I know. You want another baby. What is this next guy's name? Or do you even know? Personally, I suspect that sis is looking for a baby daddy for. She is due to have another kid based on the ages of the others, so Op should let family know that. Well-intentioned, I don't think your answer really addresses the situation. Op doesn't say that there are 3 ex-husbands, only that there are 3 kids and a deadbeat alcoholic dad. She probably should divorce the worthless jerk, get the court to grant her full custody and require him to pay child support. He needs to get off his lazy ass, get a job, and fulfill his responsibility. She's probably supporting his ass too, and if she wasn't, she could afford to hire responsible childcare. I must have missed that comment. I had assumed 3 kids with 3 daddies, no husband. She doesn't want to babysit for her anymore, and I don't blame her. The sister is responsible for her own children. If she hadn't abused the privilege of her Op babysitting for her and kept it to once in a while instead of every damn weekend, she wouldn't be in this place. It's such an entitlement attitude that she thinks Op owes it to her to babysit every weekend. I would tell her no, and not be home when sister tries to dump the kids anyway. Tell her if she tries that and leaves the kids because Op is in the house that you will call CPS or the police. Or just say no, the mom decided to have them. She can watch them, or hire a sitter. Or crazy idea the other parent can watch them or hire a sitter. Also start pumping them full of Hearse's Kisses before mom picks them up, so they are on a total sugar, chocolate high and are beyond obnoxious for party girl and her hangover to deal with. That's fighting dirty. I like it. I would buy them the loudest toys possible and give them to them right before mom comes stumbling and hungover. Loud toys and let them stay up all night so she can dump them right back on hungover mom. I recommend drums and kazoos. Kazoos or any other music instrument found at the dollar store. I personally recommend the live singing Elsa toy or chicken from Moana. You realize that intentionally giving kids loud, obnoxious toys so they can piss off their entitled wannabe party girl hungover mother could end badly for the kids, right? Like toys being broken, being screamed at, grounding, and or even physical punishment. Not a great idea for Op to potentially put kids in danger versus just saying, no, I will not be your on-call babysitter. Start acting like a mother of three instead of some party girl lush and parent your own kids. I buy all children loud, obnoxious toys, and if battery operated, the best batteries and glue the door shut. OMG, my aunt always got loud, obnoxious toys. Lol. Hey kids, look, mommy's home. Who wants Skittles before you go? Double stuffed Oreos. So you get chocolate and sugar. Please don't go out of your to harm a child's health to get back at their parents. That is wrong on so many levels. Adults can and should fight in adult ways, not via proxy, especially doing something that every doctor would tell you has long-term negative health consequences. It's one thing to give a kid a piece of candy every now and again, but completely different to weaponize the use of candy on children against another adult. Yeah, maybe not so much on the candy, but like establish yourself as cool auntie and don't reinforce bedtime or something. Let them be awake for their mom to deal with when she gets home. Then she can explain that she would rather party all night than be with her kids. That should not harm them. I did it accidentally one time. I sent my nieces a bunch of kisses and M&Ms for Valentine's. My sister couldn't find the 2-year-old at bedtime. Found her hiding behind the sofa with an empty 16 ounces bag of kisses. Niece was so wired she didn't crash for like 3 hours. That niece graduate cum laude from her business school and is social media director for a major insurance company now. That is a fun story. And as you said, it was one time, which is completely normal. What the prior poster was suggesting wasn't one time, but doing it every time Op got the kids. That is what I was saying was going too far. Kids aren't going to get diabetes from their aunt feeding them too much sugar 1 or 2 times. But the link between diabetes and processed sugar is pretty well documented. If you don't believe me, just ask your doctor. That was what I was saying. I was that poster and I didn't say how often. I suspected 1 or 2 times would be sufficient. Add Mountain Dew to the chocolate, lasts longer and harder for them to fall asleep. Better yet, ice cream with chocolate chips and a side of Sour Patch Kids. Mountain Dew and cotton candy. What about adding a can of Coca-Cola for each child into the mix? Caffeine is always great. Lol. I thought that the bromide in the chocolate would be enough. Nah, you can never have enough of the good old stuff. She doesn't even have to charge daycare prices to get her point across, zany face, just charge 1/2 local daycare. X3, entitled twat, probably never had consequences. It just screams, golden child. The way her family is ganging up on the sister who didn't craft any crotch goblins to fully care for 3 feral mistakes. I said mistakes. I mean it. If sister had planned those kids, she would have found a better parent than a deadbeat drunk. And she would actually be a mom and teach manners and acceptable behavior. There really is no force to babysit. The problem is that Op hasn't been able to stand up for herself and simply say, no, I won't do it. Allowed sis to drop off her children every weekend and let the resentment build up until she snapped. Op allowed sis to build the narrative that she's the bad guy because she lost her temper and called her sister names. She didn't say one way or the other, but this likely happened right in front of the children. 2 grown women, asterisk the ones who love and care for these kids the most and who the children themselves love and care about the most, yelling at each other, calling each other names, and fighting about them, making them sound like burdens that each woman is trying to unload on the other. In her very first sentence, Op felt the need to justify herself to a bunch of internet strangers. It doesn't matter how much you work, or whether you even work at all. You don't need to tell anyone that you have your own life to live. It doesn't matter what sis would rather be doing than parenting her own children on the weekends. The basic facts are plenty. My sister wants me to babysit her children every weekend. I don't want to. Greater than her sister has to ask someone else to save cash. She just wouldn't pay and bitch to the family that Op is taking advantage of a single mom. She's not being forced. She's a person who has made choices. The mother of those children is also a person who has made choices. Somehow, they fell into a pattern that made Auntie feel used. Overused, actually. That mom's sense of entitlement was learned. Her family is going to have to get tough to help her unlearn that. Auntie needs to calmly tell her sister how she feels and exactly what she's willing to do to help her sister get a break. Auntie gets to decide exactly what that will be from now on. Perhaps 1 or 2 Saturday evenings each month? 1 Friday and 1 Saturday? 1 full weekend each month? Or maybe she doesn't even want to schedule. Mommy Dearest does not get to decide that what's being offered is not enough. Take it or leave it. She needs to be held responsible for her own life. Those other family members could step up, too. Take the kids off mommy's hands for a couple hours now and then, maybe to the park so they get good and tired, or to your kitchen table to do a craft. Maybe bring over dinner. And if mommy ever does anything to try to take advantage, such as trying to turn those 2 hours into 5, for example, then the offers just stop. And if she demands to know why, tell her honestly and calmly. I took your kids to the park on a Saturday morning. We agreed I would bring them back at noon. You texted to say you had been delayed and then didn't come home until 3. 3 is not noon. And 3 is way more than a simple delay. Nobody owes you a minute of their time. I'll get back to you when I think I can trust your word again. The word of the day is boundaries. After how many times did Op keep saying yes? The more I think about it, the more I feel like she could have just said no to babysitting around the second or third time. Either way, she'd be charging at least $5 or $10 an hour for when she babysits if she keeps saying yes to her sister. Yep, but demand payment up front so she can't claim that she forgot to go to the ATM. That she can't be forced to babysit. No is a complete sentence. Greater than forced to babysit, being asked to help a family member isn't being forced to do anything. Up could have at the very least tried saying no and walking away, instead of willingly taking on the commitment and then insulting her sister later. That won't work if sis is dragging home some man-made ISO hub number 2. Nah, just put in writing that she refuses to babysit and will report her sister to family services if she abandons the kids on OP's doorstep anyway. The sister will agree to it and just not pay her. I'll gladly pay you Tuesday to babysit today. She shouldn't have been doing it for free in the first place. I would establish a pay scale, require payment in advance, charge time and a half for any time over 8 hours, and double time for evening and overnight time, and triple for any time she was late. Op could also call the police for child abandonment. If Op tells the mom she's not available and the mom drops the kids off anyway. I came here to say this exactly. We have one child and the most I'll ask my sister to babysit is once a month. She didn't sign up to be parent and I value her time. Agreed. So where's the dads? She need a break, so you get none? What does she do during the week? Let her hire a babysitter or dump them on one of those concerned relatives. The kids have a deadbeat alcoholic father, so her decision-making isn't exactly faultless. It's beyond Op deserving their own weekends. It's not their children, so it shouldn't impact them at all except disruptions to conversations when visiting for tea or something. The kids were conceived by 2 parents who should be taking responsibility for their lack of condoms or at least paying a professional to this heavy lifting. That's what I'm screaming. Where is the kid's father in all of this, and why isn't he watching his own kids on the weekends if their mom wants to go out? I don't care where the father is. He could have rode his kickbike to China for all I care. Nothing he does or doesn't do affects my responsibility towards my sister's kids. Because I don't have one. I have to show up for birthdays. That's about it. I'm super duper comfortable telling a hoe no. In fact, it's kind of a hobby of mine. If I want to play with my sister's kids, I will let her know. Until then, don't call my phone. You know good and well the talk we had after you and Drayden split up He third time, Tina. Amen to this, too. She had the kids. She raises them. If the husband's a deadbeat, it's not on you. Once every couple of months. Maybe. But if she's telling you to do it, she can damn well have every member of the family take a weekend in turn. And what the heck is she doing going out partying with friends? If she wants to do that, she needs to hire a babysitter like every other responsible parent. Right. Just to say, I'm not sure a responsible parent is on this one's roster. I'm super duper comfortable telling a hoe no. In fact, it's kind of a hobby of mine. Lol. Love this. Oh, to the no! Rode his kickbike to China. I'm stealing that. It's been entered into my vocabulary of hyperbolic phrases in dramatic situations, made either naturally or by my own hand. You're welcome. Lol. I could not agree more. Additionally, just an oddball thought. You could earn a pretty damn good income just being other people's official boundary enforcer. Full stop. Give me a sec, babe. Let me just text Nicole. And there. She'll be here in 5. Then trust me, she'll be able to convey, and much better than me. I will add perfectly why it's actually not cool that you saved money by crashing at Coachella in some girl's tent who treated you Kindle. What in the hand stamp line? I can think of a few less than enjoyable boundary discussions that required my participation, and yet, had I been able to hire someone to tap in and wrap up that shit show of a discussion? Face holding back tears priceless. Grin. Yep, here I am to tell them why. Yeah, like there's only one father. I'm dead. LMAO. How's she supposed to have her 4th unwanted bundle without a free babysitter? She's been on a 2-year baby-making cycle. And now she's getting behind. That makes sense. What with her childcare struggles, it makes sense she can't meet her quota. That was my first thought. There's likely 2 to 3 baby daddies involved here if she's going out partying every weekend. Every weekend, setting up for baby number 4. Thinking face. And still thinking, even insisting, that other people take care of them for her. Phew, that was unexpected, yet immediately so obvious. Tears of joy. Why did the sister keep having kids with a deadbeat alcoholic husband? Sister needs to get her tubes tied. Let's be honest, though, the guy got off scot-free. The females are the only ones that ever get punished. That's why I have a problem with her entire family, not just her sister. They're all a bunch of idiots and disasters heads. At least call them women, as you didn't disrespect the sleep-around guys by calling them males. Yes, but then we wouldn't know how creepy he is. This is a bad take because it is extreme. Obviously, sister should not be obligating Op to every weekend of babysitting. But this idea that the parents and only the parents should ever feel any sort of impact on their lives from kids who are in their family community is one of the reasons our society is not doing well. Kids need more than just their parents to grow up well. Raising kids takes a lot more than just parents are able to give. It takes a village is not just an outdated cliche if our own the past, not by unwilling obligation. Obviously, but family and community works best when everyone works together for the good of everyone. Not everything can be farmed out to professionals, nor can that be afforded by most people. Of course, in this case, the father and the rest of the family who are giving Op a hard time should 100% step up and help a lot more. Sister is taking advantage of Op, who loves her nieces, nephews. She can still babysit and be involved, but it's totally unfair to demand every weekend, NTA. And maybe she should offer to help Op with something in exchange. Doesn't sound like Op has kids, so can't offer to watch them, but maybe help Op clean since she works long hours. That's what I'd do if I asked family for free help. Sounds like a nice idea. Or invite Op to dinner regularly after she gets off work. If sister is already prepping food for at least 4 people, one more isn't a big deal, and that is a nice reprieve for someone single having to make dinner for themselves every day after work. Exactly. If it takes a village, then my village is built on 2-way streets. It means everyone is looking out for the parents, but also the single people with long hours or who are pet parents, the elderly who could use help with their house cleaning, etc. You know, I'd agree with you if it wasn't an every weekend thing or if Op wasn't expected to be the only one babysitting. It strongly implies she's the single, childless one and therefore must not have a life of her own, though. Therefore, she should be the whole damn village at the whims of the sister. These children have another parents and other family members who have time to complain about OP, not stepping up to help family, but aren't stepping up to babysit these kids so sister can go paw. RTY, why doesn't Op get a social life? That's why I said obviously sister is taking advantage of Op and that the rest of the family should step up and help too. My comment was refuting a sentiment that parents should never be helped with their kids for free. You are either lost in the thread tree or didn't really read my comment. You said others should help with childcare, but your original comment didn't say anything about the sister helping Op. Another comment mentioned it and I agreed. Mutual help, community, etc. Met. The only time I hear it takes a village is when it's a parent wanting help with childcare. What is she doing for her sister? Is she cooking her dinner when she has to work late one night? Is the extended family picking up her groceries when the single sister is homesick? Maybe, but you never hear about the village doing much for anyone else in the family. Our villages have become sad silos. I'm not a parent. I still believe in the village. Don't try to be reasonable. These comments are pissing me off. We've gone from entitled sister to horrible mom slut with multiple daddies. The speculation is gross and a lot of people are running with something someone pulled out of their ass. Op is NTA. But the comments here, most of the comments are implying mom is a slut. The lack of a dad to any of these kids, regardless if it's one man or 3 different ones, is fair to point out. She had kids pretty much back to back. Personally, I don't care about her sex life, but I do care about common sense. Why have kids 2 and 3 if you can't manage the first? And dad's not helping with that one? It does say something about the sister's bad judgment, and it is trashy to have kids you cannot manage. Totally fair if she needed ELP here and there, but other don't have kids, have only the number you can handle. And if you need outside care, hire it. This never takes long for the misogynist to show up, does it? You're not wrong, but you shouldn't assume no birth control was used. Some people have 3 or 4 kids using birth control, even trying multiple different methods when the last one didn't work. Condoms in particular have a pretty significant failure rate. Amen to that. This full score bullseye double exclamation mark clenched fist. Op can take their weekends. The sister isn't taught for asking for help, but Op is for insulting her instead of just saying no. I assume these kids have a dad, or multiple dads. Why isn't they taking the kids? Your sister's expectations that you take her kids so she can go play is totally off the hook unreasonable. If your sister wasn't prepared to raise her kids, then she shouldn't have had them. I don't suppose your work could transfer you to an office in another city so you have to move a couple of hours away? NTA. Your sister disrespects your time off like it doesn't matter. She made a choice to have kids. The rest of the family can step up. Before she found herself in this situation, maybe she should have thought about taking a break from having more kids. She has no right to expect Op or anyone else to take on her parenting responsibilities. OP, the reason your family is telling you that should help out more is so that your irresponsible, self-centered sister doesn't ask them instead. Tell her and them you're willing to help pay for your sister to get her legs sewn together. Op works all week, so when does she get a break? How often do you think OP's sister will be babysitting for her in the future? I wish my mom would have set her foot down and enforced boundaries with my sister and her kids. Alas, she refused to grow a backbone. Being a parent is a full-time job. You don't get weekends off. Just because you don't have kids doesn't mean you're willing to parent hers part-time. You were not involved in her choice to have kids, and she can't force you to do it. Don't be home. Stay with a friend on Friday and Saturday nights until she takes the hint. Also, always make sure the flying monkeys have the true story. Usually, they are told some version of the truth that makes them the victim. NTA. Me too. Good comeback. Well, you could, but you might go to jail. Absolutely. All the family members saying Op should keep babysitting every weekend are only worrying about being asked to chip in themselves. Tell the family members to start texting that other person. What's his name again? Oh yeah, Dad. Seriously, they are not OP's responsibility. Birthday and Christmas, of course you spoil them. Regular weekends is too much to ask of anyone other than the other parent. My youngest is 10 and I have slept away from her twice. I don't have anyone else to help me. I don't expect anyone else to help me. She really needs to adjust her expectations. It's unrealistic to expect every weekend, the entire weekend, without the kids unless there's shared custody. A Friday or Saturday evening, or even just one day, is more reasonable. No wonder you're hesitant to help. She chose to have 3 kids with someone who doesn't pull their weight. Just tell her no. If she still shows up to drop them off, don't answer the door, or make sure you're not home when she arrives. Her kids are not your responsibility. If others are pressuring you to watch them, tell them to do it themselves. Really, he just needs to tell them, I'm not from Alabama, so I wasn't involved or consulted in the creation of these children. I'd add that for $10, I'd make a schedule to help all the people who are giving Op a hard time manage their babysitting rotations. I'll buy that for $1. Tongue out turtle. Yes, family should all be taking turns so sis can go out every weekend and get pregnant again. Yes, Op isn't going to have any time to foster her own healthy friendships and relationships. Sister is going to keep fostering her own hot mess of relationships. Read OP's edit. Alcoholic deadbeat baby daddy. On OP's time. Sis needs her tubes tied. This is so true. When walking disasters like sis have someone taking care of their kid, they think, hey, this is easy. I'll bet I can handle another one. I'd make a calendar and send copies to every family member who complained and tell them to mark down which weekends they wanted the kids, so you could all coordinate. But also keep the previous months attached and blot out every weekend you had to look after them so far so the family actually has to look it on the face and see how fucking ridiculous your sister is. This, especially the part where you note the dates you've been babysitting the kids. If you really want to rub it in, you might note how many hours, or the percentage, of your own limited free time per week you have donated in past weeks to babysit your sister's kids. Do not allow them to make your sister's poor decisions your issue. Who in your family is likely to step up to help you when you need a hand? There is not a more perfect response. Enjoy your youth and weekends. Before you know it, you will be with your own family responsibilities and looking back wondering where the time went. And you also work full-time. You need to have your weekends to relax. Those are the days you are not scheduled to work. You can still help your sister occasionally, if you want, but not every single weekend. And not all weekend. Not to mention, sister will come up with all sorts of excuses when it's her turn. I've already done my bit. These are your kids. I'm the auntie, not the babysitter. Shame for thee and not for me. And probably not getting help in return. Worse, you will end up old without your own personal family as you spent all your time helping friends and family without finding one of your own. This, because NTA, does she pay you at least? Dang. Of course, no pay. Because family. NTA. If any family member says you should help more, just reply with, "Thanks for supporting my sister." I'll let her know you volunteered to babysit every weekend. Facts. Totally agree. Best response. NTA. Your sister is one entitled brat herself. Those are her children, not yours. Yes, indeed. It's very easy to be generous with other people's time and resources. This, and then hang up right away. Don't give them a chance to respond and let them stew waiting for the call or knock at the door. Set up a calendar, and every person that tells off they are a jerk can be signed up for a weekend. There was a post recently about another person who had been put in this situation, and their solution, after being hounded by the family, was to make a schedule of everyone that had reached out about them stepping up more. So the love got spread around to all the people that thought they could put their nose in their business babysitting for everyone. For real IDK, how people don't learn to employ this strategy. Thank you. You're so right, family should help. I'll let her know. Oh, what do you mean you can't? You mean you won't? So selfish. She's family. Just repeat back everything they said. Either they help or more likely they just learn to STFU. That's the only answer. I hate people who are happy to volunteer someone else's time. No kidding. Where is everyone else's support? Or, if they don't live here, have volunteered to give her money to cover the cost of a babysitter. Change. I'll let you know. I'll let her know. Whoops, thanks for that catch. I would group text the entire family and give a formal apology, being condescending. I would then text a chart with a breakdown of all the family members who called me out with the weekends they are covering watching the kids. I would say these are your weekends each month and this one is mine. Force the entire family to watch her kids consistently and see how long they last before things blow up. Throw the whole family away and enjoy your youth and freedom. She made a choice and she could shell out the money for a babysitter. Always the best response to all of the flying monkeys. Exactly. Say I can't agree more, but with working 5 days and babysitting 2 days I was struggling. But now that you have stepped up to help, I truly appreciate it. Wait till all the flying monkeys come out of RHE woodwork and put a weekend rota in place and share we're all involved, including your sister. Say as you have done the last X number of weekends. You will go back into rotation once everyone else has caught up. There was another girl who had the same situation. She ended up making a babysitting schedule for everyone that berated her for not helping her sister. You should do this. Oh, what's that? You can't help because you're not physically able or live too far. I'll let her know you've offered to pay for a babysitter every weekend. Problem solved. This so much, but these show up every day, so it's probably fake. Yes, this is the way. Exactly this. Up arrow, up arrow, up arrow, up arrow, up arrow. Perfectly said. Hands clapping, hands clapping, hands clapping. Yes, this comment right index pointing up, medium light skin tone here. The proverbial put up or shut up scenario. Bingo. Perfect response. This is the correct answer. This is the way. Perfect. Everybody takes a turn. Then you have really helped your sister by recruiting more help. I once said I wanted to come visit my sister's kid. She immediately made plans to go out and have me sleeping on her couch so they could stay out late dancing. At the time I started work at 5:30 a.m. I did not visit, ever. It's a good thing to help other family members, but if it's like your sister who just keeps partying and gives the responsibility to you as a mother, then that's so selfish of her. Don't mind your other family because they clearly not get the situation. NTA. Cheers to your freedom. This is a perfect response. Relatives love to attack for you not doing enough but couldn't be bothered to even consider stepping up themselves. This 1000%. Everyone says, you need to help family, yet those same family members turn the other cheek once put on the spot. Couldn't agree more. They will all have their own excuses for why she should be giving up her free time and none of them will step up. This is the way. Exactly this. Greater than everyone keeps texting me saying I should help her out. Exactly. More concise to tell them to step up or STFU. So there are more than enough volunteer for the babysitting project and therefore op is not to be bothered. This sister most likely told family a way different story, but I still think this is a good way to let them know the real story. The only answer necessary. This 10,000 times. And if you really want to be petty, make a schedule for everyone who said you should help out more. I love spending time with my kid, but I didn't want to be around other people's kids. It's neither my business or responsibility. For an emergency, maybe, but for partying, hell no. Best response. NTA. I believe the rest of your family will find some excuse for not babysitting. It is easy to volunteer someone else's time on behalf of them. Not so easy to do it themselves. The sisters is the ass. She has know that it a full-time job taking care of young ones. It's so not a MF job. Why did she have so many kids if she wasn't prepared to take care of them? NTA. Tell her no and don't answer the door when she shows up. Love this. Take it to the bank. This. If she was adult enough to drop her knickers thrice, she should be able to assume the consequences too. NTA obviously. Text back all family members and thank them for helping your sister out with her crotch goblins. Then text her the names of the volunteers. Done. Don't back off, Op, or you are going to be the babysitter forever. Add on. You already had enough baby making time. Now it's my time to shine, baby. This. But if there are multiple people, drop a schedule AMD, share it on a big old family group chat, thumbs up, light skin tone. I'm so happy you all came forward. Sister will be so happy to receive more support. Why is it the people who always have the biggest and loudest opinions in how you need to be better, step up more, sacrifice more, and such are the quietest to give their time or sacrifice anything? Heaven forbid they see their lack in anything other than to offer comment and commentary on other people as a shortcoming on their part. Tell them when they donated a few weekends in their part, then they can offer it. Suggest a firm schedule where weekends are rotated, and if they back out on their weekend, that the emergency of no childcare falls back on the parent or grandparents. Not you. Yeah, that was my first thought. Why is she relying on aunt as the only helper? Are grandparents not in the picture? Perfect response. All of this and more. This. Take my upvote. I love this response so much. Look how fast their tone will change too. Lol. People live to tell others what they should and shouldn't be doing, but the moment that responsibility might be in their direction, suddenly it's a whole different story. LMAO. Remember the story where the sister created a schedule for all the family that had something to say? Priceless tears of joy, tears of joy. This is spot on. That's the only response to flying monkeys. Put them to work. Like thoughts and prayers, asking others to make sacrifices is an effortless way to feel righteous. They will of course start sputtering excuses if you ask them to step up since they think so strongly about it. JD Vance has entered the couch. There was that other post a while back where Op ended up setting up a rotation and sending it to all the people wanting to volunteer her time for them to take their turns. This is the best response ever. Repeat endlessly. When they resist, which is inevitable, follow up with, put up or shut up. Don't volunteer my time when you should be volunteering your own. And next weekend, Op, leave the house early, turn off your phone. That's it. Not your circus, not your monkeys. Yeah, she can cut contact or take her babies away. That's just what entitled mothers do. Want to add, every time one of those supportive families members calls Op selfish or a jerk, Op should reply, yes, I am, and your name calling me, like we're in elementary school, won't change my no into a yes. The solution, ditto. Sister sounds like a witch with a B, a selfish witch with a B.